We're in the tech sector, so we should be able to do whatever we want to do.
Hello.
Nabeel Mahmood, Nomad Futurist. My Twitter handle is Nabeel Mahmood, and all the social handles for Nomad Futurist are Nomad Futurist.
Follow this guy, and this is Nina Tayar and Next Tech. So you're an influencer, and you're operating globally, although your base is Hawaii. So I want to ask you, first of all, about the AI party. Everyone is hyping about AI. Is this a trend to stay?
Well, for starters, AI is nothing new, right? We've had it for a long time. As a matter of fact, we've had artificial intelligence the day computing was streamlined and mass marketed. I wouldn't say that we are creating a false hype. It is for real. And the reason for that really is that digital transformation that we have been actually trying to pursue over the last decade of computing was normalized because of COVID as people started working remotely. And it's become a norm and people want more and more data. But it's not just about data, it's being able to process the data and making that data valuable. And we've actually learned that through COVID, and I believe over the next decade, our sector is going to go dramatically. I think I'm personally estimating roughly about a 10x to 11x growth over the next decade.
We have a similar interest in capacity building and making sure everybody's included in this transition, which is an inflection point, certainly by any means. So, my effort is Let's Talk Tech, which essentially shares conversations that are happening amongst leaders driving this digital transformation. These conversations tend to be closed within people who know each other and speak the same language. Sharing this conversation helps build awareness amongst people because it's a journey, isn't it? To make sure that, and the knowledge is really cumulative. So that's my contribution. How you're contributing?
So you make a great point that it's a very tight niche market segment, and the challenge that we've got in the space is that we've got all these silos and we've got a tunnel vision in addressing just the technical element of things, but we are forgetting the social piece of it. So besides being a techie and a futurist and doing this for a living, personally I've taken the initiative that we need to be able to get out of the comfort zone that we know, that we live in, and streamline it to the younger generation and people that don't have any exposure to it, right? So what we are trying to do as an organization that would be under my foundation, the Nomad Futurist, is to simplify technology and demystify it for the average population and give them an opportunity to understand what it is and what it entails. So whether it be security concern, privacy, so on and so forth, and social concerns pertaining to sustainability, environment, and so on and so forth, give them a platform to leapfrog from and educate them and hopefully entice them to come into the space and bring their expertise, whether it be regionally or nationally, their culture, their influences, and hopefully work together to grow the segment.
Will there be any practical or financial support, say, to small businesses to adopt AI so they don't fall behind?
Wow. So if you're talking it from a non-profit perspective, we are not there yet, but I do have future plans of adding an incubator into the entire portfolio. So that does eventually help the small, medium businesses globally. But as it stands right now, with the technology being streamlined, there's an opportunity for small businesses to leverage based on the tools that they've got available.
And obviously, from my perspective, the communication will be about changing conversation, which is dominated in the media about AI replacing humans, by AI making us smarter or our work more efficient as opposed to replacing us. There's been a lot of scaremongering about AI. I think most people would want to, in the future, work with organizations or people who have adopted it. Do you believe that we're going to be replaced or that we're going to be supplemented in, improve our performance? What's your take on this?
Yeah, so it's a multifold question. So for starters, intelligence cannot be artificial. So AI being portrayed as artificial intelligence is total rubbish, in my opinion. it is really actionable intelligence. Because we are making decisions based on data that we're collecting, we're making decisions based on data that we're mining. And to add to it, human intelligence, there's no substitute for it, right? The actionable intelligence and or AI, so-called artificial intelligence, is still being defined by human, and we will always be defining those formulas, those algorithms, those processes. Machines won't be doing that for us. They're basically providing a platform for us to take corrective actions only. Now, to the second part of your question, I believe it is an enabler. It's going to certainly improve the quality of life. It's going to give us data and data points addressing issues that we are getting ready for, particularly as it entails to carbon emissions, carbon neutrality, and even privacy.
Part of the diversity and inclusion is to make sure you include the wider representation of society as possible to mitigate against the bias in AI. Do you have concerns on the biasness of the system?
Yes. I mean, so for the AI discussion from diversity and inclusion, that's a massive talk in itself. I think we have to have a starting point. The challenge that we have got socially is that we've created all these divides. Now, my message is that we are all made of the same parts. We should all be treated equally. It doesn't matter if you're a man, you're a woman, if you're a person of color, if you've got different religious beliefs and or whatever differences that you might be. We need to go back to the roots. We need to go back to the foundation and treat each other equally. That's the starting point. That's what needs to be addressed. And then everything else sorts itself. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Anytime.
Yeah.